Alright, so before we get stuck into the top 5 likes and dislikes, got to realise why we bought this Type-R is because all our other cars, race-oriented track cars, so we can't really have one of those as our daily driver, but I wanted something that I could track ultimately in a couple of years' time, and also have an awesome driving experience in the meantime. So this thing fits the bill, and I had a few different choices. Could have gone after a like a WRX, but I'm not really a Rexy sort of guy. Could have gotten a second-hand Evo or something. And what I was really thinking about was getting second-hand Redline, because, you know, obviously the other Redline's turned into a race car, but the prices have just gone through the roof. So all those options were ruled out, really. So, and going back to my sort of Honda heritage, we ended up going with the Type-R. And I've always loved these cars, and they're pretty special. So let's get it out in the sun so you can see it. All right, so we're out here in the sun, and the Type-R looks an absolute peach, doesn't it? And we've got just been washing it and waxing it with Bowden's, a bit of the old lazy wax. And I don't really like it being out here in full sun, but I want you to see the full detail of the Type-R. And here she is. So this is a likes and dislikes video, so we better start talking about some of the likes. Well, first of all, it's the aero, and it's functional aero as well. We've got this big front splitter on the front, and it's all actually works, and not like a garden stripping you might get from Bunnings that you see from certain YouTubers' cars. And little winglets there. The bonnet scoop actually doesn't put cold air into the intercooler. Intercooler's down the front. That bonnet scoop there actually directs air around the front guards there. They're all connected. So again, aero continues all through the side skirts here, and we've got our rear diffuser. And the whole under tray is flattened out to get rid of the dirty air. Next like are these stoppers, and they've actually changed the rotors on these on this particular model and later models, because they do screech a bit, these drilled rotors. And this car's just done 38,000 Ks and it needs new rotors as well. So rotor life on these things is not good, but that's because we do a bit of spirited driving as well. So it's got a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder in it, and it goes pretty well. And we'll pop the bonnet in a second and let you have a look. So to go with the stopping power of the brakes, you've got to have the Mumbo under the bonnet too, and it's got V-TEC technology on the exhaust side, and yeah, it's pretty special. They run fairly high boost, these motors, but it's an absolute treat. We've got a special passenger today. His name is Mr. Banjo. He's quite excited in the Type-R, but it's a nice place to be with the Alcantara seats, and when you've got a little passenger in the back here, that's good fun too. But yeah, beautiful interior, carbon fibre accents, very nice. Isn't that right, Banjo? Quite excited today. And it looks a little bit boy racery. You can sort of see the rear wing and all the diffusers and all the aero, and it might attract some attention, but we actually don't mind it. And you know, if you don't want a car that looks like this, don't buy it. That's the simple equation. But when you're looking for a daily driver that's got track tendencies, we reckon this thing's pretty cool. So it's when you're actually driving this car in a spirited way, that's when this car really comes to life. So let's go for a bit of a spin up here. The first thing you'll notice as well is that it's actually very quiet in here, and even when you do approach 8,000 RPM, it's all good. Frankie has made a couple of observations that whilst it's a sports exhaust, it does need a more fruitier note. I tend to agree with Frankie on that point, but that's all good. However, there is one point about this car, and that is I want to try to keep it as stock as I can, because actually all the components that come with the car stock are actually pretty bloody good. So, you know, what's the point of actually throwing new rotors and pads and all that sort of stuff when actually the car stock is actually quite capable? So, you know, so what's the point of actually spending money, you know, when you've already got a really good platform to work with? The star of this engine, star of the car, sorry, is this engine. So it's a 2-litre turbocharged V-TEC Honda K motor. Now these things are very exotic. There's a channel called Engineering Explained which does a whole preview on, you know, deep dive on the engine, sodium-filled valves, forged crank, forged conrods, oil squirters and the pistons. It's seriously Formula One technology in this thing. And this rev matching, which is awesome, you know, it makes you feel like you're in the centre every day of the week. Because the other thing is, you know, when you heel and toe, as much as, you know, good fun it is and all the rest of it, this rev matching means that you never stuff up, you never miss the pedal, and the rev matching is perfect. I haven't locked the front up once yet, and that's not more than I can say for the Hyundai or the VE Ute. I've done that many a time. So having automatic rev matching is actually something that's quite cool. So that's the engine, 306 horsepower, bucket load of torque, and with V-TEC it works on the exhaust only, so there's no V-TEC on the inlet. And for those of you that don't know about V-TEC, there's a separate cam that gets activated from about, it feels like about 3,500, 4,000. Then it actually actuates that new cam profile, gets more of those exhaust gases out of there. Doesn't need it on the inlet, like other K motors where it's got it on both. Suspension, handling, whilst they're not coilovers, they're seriously capable. Magnetic ride dampeners, again, they adjust to the driving mode in the car. Got it on soft, softens them down heaps. Got it on R like we are at the moment, and she's pretty stiff and firm. But you know, it's not bone jarring, but it's and probably not at the level that you get with you know, some coilovers. But that's something that we're not looking to upgrade at this point in time. Brakes, as I mentioned, got 4-spot brembos up front, cross drilled rotors, which look pretty good. They've gone away from those in the 2021 model Civic Type-Rs. So this is a 2018, so we've got the drilled rotors, and only one spot was on the back. And, they seem alright. They've got brembo stock pads, so probably not the best for a track day, but for everyday driving, they're pretty cool. As I mentioned, the seats and the rest of the driver engagement, steering wheel, shift knob, and inside it's actually a pretty cool place to be. I've got no complaints, you know. Driving position, as I mentioned, you know, feels comfortable, feels touch racy. Alcantara feels very nice, and I can seriously see myself using this as a daily, and not getting a headache from, you know, loudspeakers and all those other mods that I've talked about not doing to your car. Having said that, I've made one fatal mistake, and I've gone against what I've talked about in my video about worse mods, and I've got 20-inch wheels. And I know I said that's a bad thing to do, but this car came stock with 20s. One thing I did do though, I upgraded the rubber when I bought the car. So it came with, I think they come standard with Continentals, but I've gone with some Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and they're very capable. So they're good, you know, and I've got them on Fred Jr.'s car too, and no complaints with them either. They're very cool. And these two just never stop. Look at them. Unbelievable. Cavoodles. All right, back to my little drive there. And as I mentioned, I'd share with you under the bonnet. And there we are. So that's our 2-litre turbocharged V-TEC motor. And here's the other idiot joining into the brigade. So, but yeah, no, she's very nice. Very responsive, this motor. And loves to get up in the rev range too. It's an awesome daily driver. I was driving around in my my Hilux, but it's getting far too many Ks on it now, so that's why we've had to go to another vehicle. And I definitely can't drive around in Mrs. Fred's S5. That would not be magic. So I've only put a couple of thousand Ks on this since obviously the pandemic started, but it's begun very well. Had its first service just before Christmas, and as I mentioned, we're just about to get those rotors done, so we'll show you a look at them when they're done. Banjo, sign off the channel. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you later.